Yeah. No surrender. 2023. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I was not totally happy. But I'm going to tell you this again. I was not totally happy. But the Impact Plus show was good. Major problem. Audio. I'm going to tell you this. If you watch No Surrender, if you have not seen it, you're going to notice, like on YouTube, when they did the, and I will be going to the kickoff, I did see the countdown, as we call it kickoff. I did see it. I saw it. You're going to notice, 1, commentating audio went crappy. 2, audio eventually on the main show went out and then came back. 3, the audio was very loud in the ring. When I mean, and I'm saying this now because I'm not going to cover this later, but when you heard when they were running the ropes, jumping on the mat, and everything else in between, you can hear a loud squeak. Now, understand, I'm not 100% crapping on this show. I want to make this clear. This actually was a good Impact Plus show. But Impact can never 100% not get away with these shows monthly without some stupid thing going on. Either lighting, camera work, in this case, severely bad audio to the point that if you're the type of person that gets irked with strange, loud, piercing noises, you will hear it. I have no idea how bad it was in that venue. And what was it? Sands Casino in Las Vegas. I don't know how bad that squeak was. It probably was even more louder than it was picked up on the damn mics. Because the mics were not that loud. And they were still squeaking that was loud. I don't know how they took it. But I just wanted to let you guys know what was bad with the show. And it was audio. Either the audio for the commentator was bad. The sound in the entire ring at one point went flat black. You couldn't hear nothing. It was blank. Or when they brought the audio back up again, you heard that through the entire show from the countdown to the end. So, what did we get in this show? Taking away from that, very good wrestling, some decent character development, opening for the kickoff, the countdown. Gazelle Shaw versus Deonna Purrazzo. Now, I didn't expect this to be anywhere but here. I expected that to be here on the kickoff. And it wasn't a bad match. Deonna is good. Gazelle is not bad either. She has improved a bit in the last, year she's been there? Nearly a year or a little bit more than a year. She has improved to a certain extent. And I don't have a problem with her. I will say, as I spoke my Impact review, she likes to show her chest. And taking away from women doing this. Look, women do it the same as men. They will I'm trying not to sound sexist. I'm not trying to sound like I'm a horny old man, which I'm 52 years old. I should be horny. If I don't have it, I got erectile dysfunction, which I don't, thank goodness for that. But, oh my God, what did I just say? But, you get my point. Women and men want to show what they got. They want to show how their physiques are. And when it comes to Gazelle, she likes to show her tits. She likes to grease up her tits and show them a lot. Now, I don't know how anybody's going to feel about that, but as someone who's got to basically review not only the show in its entirety, I have to also review the wrestlers themselves. The major problem I had was not that she pretty much put a lot of oil on her titties. I don't care. Titties are titties. You're going to like them or you're not going to like them. The problem is her persona. Look, they're making it very clear that she's now going to be the Black Widow. Why hasn't she changed her ring attire yet? This is something I don't agree with. You're now getting the moniker of the Black Widow. That every person you've been with or have been associated with some type of calamity has happened. Fidel is the only one that has not, well, actually, he has been beaten up and messed over a couple of times. But the point is, every person she's messed with has fallen flat or failed. And in this situation where she did win, no problem, it makes sense. Why hasn't she begun to change her ring attire? She needs a new persona. If she's going to claim it as Matthew and Tom made it very clear that she's claiming the name of the Black Widow, you need to change your ring style. Along with, and her ring style's fine, but she needs to change her ring attire. It's time. She needs to change it. Mind you, I'm a guy that likes women's boobs. I'm a guy. I like women's boobs. I like women's butts. Whether you like Shaw's boobs or butt, that's on you. And I don't mind. I don't care. But as someone who's going in a character, change your damn ring attire along with your persona. I'm just saying it. I'm hoping Impact and Gazelle realizes they need to start changing in the next couple of months going into the next Impact Plus show and the next pay-per-view. That's what I'm hoping for. Because I don't want to see her still dressed the same way. And hell, I wanted to change her music. That music is meant for the quintessential diva, not for the Black Widow. Let's move on. The match that I don't know why it was wasn't on the main card was Mike Bailey versus a... I honestly don't understand why that was there. I wouldn't mind the Kaz and Khan match being on the kickoff show. That's why I wanted it. I wouldn't have had a problem with it because that would have gave you something to look at, and they could have shown some replays of it about what's going on with Sammy. But we got Khan and we got Kaz on the main card, and we got Gretchen and Speedball Mike Bailey here. Guys, when you look at the Khan and you look at the Kaz match compared to this, no comparisons. Khan and Kaz, and Frankie Kazarian's my boy. But so is Jonathan, and that match was better. It was like this much better. And I'm not saying that Khan is a bad wrestler. He's not. I like Khan. I actually remember him when he was in the Ascension. I do remember him when he was in NXT and when they tried on the main roster and they were basically buried and started doing segments with Breezango. I'm sorry. I just feel that they could have been on the kickoff show, the countdown. But I understand the reason why they did it, because of the story for Sammy and Deaner and the design. I understand it. I'm not taking anything from it. But if it was not with that, it should have been there. And Gretchen and Speedball Mike Bailey should have opened the show because it was way more hotter than it was with Khan and Kaz. I'm sorry, it was. I'm just saying. Beginning of the card was Kaz and was Khan. And let's make this clear. The story of Sammy and the design is a good story. You wonder where it's going. Do you believe Sammy's lying? You just wait until he really gets in and then trashes the place? Or will he be the next design? Because that's what I think he's... If I believe, eventually, if they don't do the normal swerve like they always do when it comes to a face, and he's like an anti-hero when it comes to Sami Callihan. If he does join the design, I truly believe that he will transition from being like Deaner was with Eric Young to being what Deaner is now, and Deaner will be gone. I'm not saying Deaner's going to quit Impact Wrestling. I just believe that Deaner will transition from being that. He's no longer the design. He sees that he has a sickness, and he's now going to give it to the one who does not. And that's what it comes down to. That's what I believe it will eventually become. Deaner will be destroyed. He'll be taken out, and it will be Sammy who will be the next design. That makes the best sense. But that's just me. And the match was fine. But we got Sammy making a mistake because he hits pretty much... do I appreciate what Sammy did by hitting Khan in the back with the chair? It's part of the story. So it's not something I haven't seen before when there's someone's trying to join a faction. They got to go through some type of trial or some type of tribulation, or the steps in this case. The question is going to be, what is the segment they're going to be doing this Thursday? Because he has now messed up twice. And he's still not getting beaten. Khan will probably get his ass whooped because he lost. And it's not because Sami beat him. It's because by the design standards, he lost. He must be punished. And yes, Sami did screw that, making the way it was. And Sami should be the one to get punished right now. But if Deaner again does not do it, then you wonder how far they're going to keep this up. Because yes, maybe they can stretch this out to the next pay-per-view or the next Impact Plus show, but they need to beat up on Sami. Sami needs to get his ass whooped. Or Khan, I'm just saying. Next match, which was the... What was the point? Death Dolls versus the Hex. And this, I have to just mention it, because I'm not going to rant, because I already explained it. No audio. It went down and then it cut off. I have to say it because I have to explain it. I don't know what was stated in the ring, and I don't know what was stated by the commentary team most of that match. It began to get lower and lower and lower until the audio just cut out. So I really only watched what was going on. There was no audio. So most of that match was very hard to gauge because there's not only no way to see what they're saying because they are talking to each other, they're yelling at one another, so you can't hear what they're saying, but also commentators kind of add a little bit extra on top of the layer of the regular wrestling and the wrestlers themselves talking. It wasn't a bad match, but then the Hex basically lose clean. They lose. And here's what a problem for me is. We don't have many women in the tag division at all. I mean, how many women we got in tag? We got Death Dolls now. They're the champions. We got the Hex. Yes. We did have Purrazzo and we did have Green. That's over with. Who else do we have? Yes. Who else do we have? Sienna and Marty Bell, they look great, but then they lose. And now Savannah Evans is helping Gazelle Shaw. I didn't say that in the match, but I don't really need to say it because I'm not surprised that Savannah Evans became Gazelle Shaw's muscle because that's what she's always been gauged as. So for me personally, this division feels empty. You had this match, but you didn't show any other women dealing with Hex or dealing with the Death Dolls. You just had one match with the Death Dolls. Well, basically, pretty much Allison Kay. And I know I called her Sienna. I kind of still like her called Sienna. But Allison Kay going up against Taya Valkyrie. But you shouldn't have done it. They should have had their own separate tag matches. You went straight here with nothing. I feel sorry for both teams. I feel sorry for the Hex. I feel sorry for the Death Dolls because they got no tag division. Zero tag division. Zero. Even if the Hex stick around for a little while longer and they face them again and they'll do singles and then do a tag match again and they'll probably get the shot again. But where is the division? There's none. None. You can't even bring in like they did for who I'll be coming to soon, who I did say was going to lose. Where are the indie wrestlers? You can't tell me Impact can't bring some women in and job for the tag division so they don't feel so empty for the knockouts. This was not a bad match, but it's empty. It's an empty division. It reminds me of WWE. It reminds me of AEW in their women's division. It is sad. And that is one of the major sad points of this Impact Plus show. It just is. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. The Dot Combat match of Joe Hendley and guys, if you don't care about the matches there, any of them, you must see this match. This dot combat match is kind of going with the 2000s. They actually, look, when it came out to Moose, when he was facing Joe Hendley, it was a standard, like, hardcore match. Basically, or Street Fight, they're using whatever they want. There's no countouts and no disqualifications. They got a Dreamcast. A Dreamcast. Now, I gotta say, this is actual fact. When the 90s rolled around into the early 2000s, I really didn't have much option to get many game consoles. Being married and having bills up here, beyond my ass, up to my neck, I didn't have the money to get game consoles. I didn't. So I never really played much of the Dreamcast. There used to be places you can go that you could play, kind of like Software Etc., where they literally had lines of game systems set up for Dreamcast. Well, GameCube was a little early. They did still do it a little bit, but Dreamcast, they had N64, PlayStations. I actually bought a modded Japanese PlayStation. That was when it first came out. I managed to get a Japanese one, got that bitch modded, and didn't have to wait for, well, my ex-wife wanted Final Fantasy 8. She wanted to play 8 so bad that they didn't even have it in America yet, but they had the Japanese versions, so we played that on the modded PlayStation. I had to save almost about 6 months for that, because it was so hard to do anything. But the point is, no, 5 months, sorry. But the point is, they were using stuff from the 2000s. And going into the 10s and stuff, they use keyboards. There was one spot, I believe, I have a shot of it, not the thumbtacks that we had for the Monsters Ball match, not Legos, but it was keycaps. They use keycaps. They use keyboards. They use a Dreamcast, and pretty much Moose got a whack to the head. And then you get, I believe it was one of those fake Oculus, like, they have like a fake Oculus Rift where you can stick your phone into it, or it could have been Oculus or whatever they have. And Joe Hendley stuck it onto Moose's head. And you see Moose going, what the hell is this? Because he stunned him. He stuck it on his head. He had the controller in his hand. And then you see Moose going like, oh, and it's going, wait a minute, wait. And then he just starts riding onto the top turn rope. And I don't know if I got the shot of the Tron with him dancing in the background. I think I got it. It's already been in my face. He's dancing his ass off. And then Joe Hendley shows what he's watching. He's watching a couple of women up close and personal in a club with that ass is showing. He's going, ow. I've been doing exercise, so now my muscles hurt. But you see him just going, until Joe Hendley started showing, I believe in Joe Hendley, and he took that sucker off. Pretty much. What did we get? Did we get Moose winning? No. We got Joe Hendley retaining. Was it a good match? I was laughing my freaking ass off. I'm sorry, I was. I couldn't help it. I laughed. I wanted it to last longer. Look, if just Alex saw it, he probably wouldn't like it, or maybe he might laugh. If JD saw it, he would probably say this is stupid bullshit. But they tend to forget, if just Alex hasn't forgotten. You have to have gimmick matches. You have to have skits. Like I've always said, true professional wrestling is not always the athleticism. It is not always just about the storylines. It's also about the comedy, the skits. And if you can see the person who is doing it have some freaking fun with it, like what happened with Steve Austin and Kurt Angle, who both had broken necks, both had surgery, both could not wrestle, and they literally had to do stupid skits on a freaking couch wearing the most stupidest cowboy hats with a ukulele. And people were laughing their asses off at it, and they loved it because they sold it and they had some level of fun with it. So don't tell me that's not true professional wrestling. The Attitude Era proved it. I had to say it. Let's move on. sorry. Breathe. I've exercised my last demon. Let's move on. Okay. Now, mind you, let's get to the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership. Now, I forgot that Eddie Edwards was not in this match. I thought he was. But it was actually PCO. Because we had PCO, we had Heath, we had the Macklin, who's been really needing this. And finally, Brian Myers. But Macklin was the one who's been needing this for so freaking long, guys. I've said this from last year, that he was ready then, because he was ready to get a title. He was ready to go into the main title scene, at least in the X Division. I wasn't even asking for him to be in the main title scene. I just thought, at least let him have the X Division title, because he felt legitimate enough. And I know there was people that said, dude, no. We don't need Macklin. He's no X Division guy. X Division can have anybody in it. Samoa Joe was in there. Abyss was in there. Lashley was in there. EC3 was in there. Rockstar Spud was in there. Hell, Bully Ray, if he had gone and would have had it. It could be anyone that just give you something so unique and different. And Macklin had it, but they never pulled the trigger. Now, we got this Fatal 4-Way. Was it a good match? It was interesting, particularly that PCO comes out with two little nuts on his side of his head and his neck. And literally, he wrestled the majority of that match with that stuff stuck to his neck. That is incredibly dangerous. PCO could have easily hurt himself seriously, even if it was cardboard. Guys, having those things stuck to your neck, when you're moving around like that, easily, you can hurt your neck, even if it was foam. If it was done hard enough, then it looked like they were solid. Those were not foam. I think they was very solid, possibly even plastic. I'm hoping they were foam. And if it was hard foam, that wouldn't have been good for him. It was probably soft foam. And that's what I was hoping for. But seeing that, I wish he had taken them off. It would have made me feel more comfortable, because I don't know what it was made out of. But was it a good match? Yes. Macklin did seem to hurt his left leg or left knee. I don't know what it was. He was having problems after PCO had decided to dive off the top turn rope and did I believe he was doing a helo or a senton. I can't remember which one. No, a helo. Goes flip straight over, and Macklin took the brunt of it. And I think PCO made him collapse under his left leg. He might have hurt himself. I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't. I hope he's okay, because he was limping a lot. He was at one point that he had to stay back from everybody, and everybody noticed he was hurt. He was slated to win. I knew he had to be the one to win. If it had been anyone else, it wouldn't have made any sense. It had to be Macklin. He's ready, particularly that Josh has not gone through him yet. But he's ready, and I'm glad he won. Now, after it was over, and PCO was screwed over by the very shovel that buried him was the very shovel that buried him by Eddie Edwards. Eddie jumps into the ring, hits him with the shovel not once but twice, and PCO could not continue. He's outside the ring, stunned, and Trey comes out saying, What the fuck is this? I think he legitimately caught himself before he started to curse, because he was not on the show. He had the Monsters Ball match, and if anybody saw my Impact review, I said, why was this not on Impact Plus? Why wasn't this there? It wasn't. And he addressed it. And I thank you, Impact, for closing that hole. That he comes out, he says, why these guys busted their ass, but you don't even have any room for the X Division champ who just went through the hellacious Monsters Ball match. He walks over to PCO. He says, I think this is crap. And if I had my way, none of these guys would have made it. Not even PCO would have stood a chance to get me nothing but a bitch. He doesn't say it, but that's what he meant. PCO grabbed that ass, splatted him. Now, we may get PCO dealing with a Trey Miguel. Maybe. Because we still have to deal with Eddie Edwards. Because if PCO is going to get a shot at the X Division title, he's still got to finish Eddie. Now, will he go and have that match first before finishing Eddie? That's what I believe is going to happen. Eddie will bother him and mess him with that possible match, if it's going to happen. Unless Eddie's going to be dealt with first, and then PCO gets his shot. And then Eddie may try and do it again. I don't know. I don't know. Now, what else do we have here? Let's get to the Busted Open radio live segment. Did you guys think it was going to get anything other than what it was? You're dealing with... Let's make this very clear, guys. Those are two freaking New Yorkers. That's a Saturday night. Let me give it to you like this. When I was a kid, very, very young, a long time ago, that type of attitude happened on a Saturday night. Where two guys, two friends that pissed each other off during the day, they decided that, you know what, let's bury the hatchet. Let's go and get some beers. I don't drink, but that's kind of the stuff that happened when I was a kid. They go to a bar, they had some fun, and then one of them pretty much says the wrong thing, and then they wait until after they're out of the bar because they don't want to lose their standings there. And then the one just whoops the ass of the other for saying, what the you What do we get in this segment? We got Dave sticking to the rules that you only get 1 minute to talk, 60 seconds. Gave Bully the moment to talk, which he was supposed to. Bully didn't say anything until the last 10 seconds. And he says, well, last 5 seconds, he says, I'm sorry. Now, when it came to Tommy, Tommy was still pissed. Tommy made it very clear. You kidding me? You're doing this? You kidding me? No. After what you said about my mom, who's legitimately sick, I was there when your mother died, and when my mother was in the hospital, who's legitimately sick, legitimately dying, you said what you said. I don't want nothing to do with you. Then a little later, when he got a chance to speak again, Bully said, look, let's drop the 1 minute. Let me be honest. And I believe at this moment, and this is real, these two have known each other for a very, very long time. Bully Ray legitimately got his job because of Tommy. That's not a lie. We all know this in real life. He got his job in ECW because of that. These guys are actual friends. This is a very good story for both of them. This is what they wanted. And Bully actually dropped the persona for 1 minute and was 100% honest because of how, let's be honest, look at the landscape for wrestling right now. A lot of wrestlers have been going lately, particularly those who shouldn't have died so damn quick. And Bully let his guard down. He said it very clearly. It's too soon. I mean, pretty much what he made it very clear to understand. He wanted the fans, and he was very quiet, because that was really him. That was not his character. This is not right. I was wrong. I'm sorry what I said about your mom. You were there for me with my mom, and for all these years, you have been there for me. There's no one else. And I know if something happens between you and me, if either one of us dies, I know if you die, I will be there and carry a coffin, even if I get my back thrown out. He kind of jabbed him a little bit. Of course, that's part of the character, but he was still being 100% honest. He made it very clear. I will be there for your funeral, even if we're fighting. I will carry your coffin. And I know you do the same thing for me. Even though you're angry at me and you hated me, you'll do it. And this is not something we should do. I'm sorry. Even if we're not friends, even if we're not working together, even if this is over and we'll never need each other again, I cannot do that. I can't. And I won't do it. I have to be. I gotta be right. I gotta do this right. This is wrong. I'm sorry. We can go our separate ways. And then, which, as I said earlier, which can trigger a man back in the day. And even more trigger them now because everyone's oversensitive. Because the way they used to get triggered back then is you got to get a whole belt load of beers, vodka or bourbon or anything else in you, and you basically get triggered easy. Everyone now gets triggered very easy, and they're not even damn drunk. He pretty much says, what you did, we can never be. That's it. And he told him to back up because Bully came up close. He said, back up. He said, all right, I'll back up. And he made it very clear. What you did, we're never going to be friends. Don't want nothing to do with you. But I will say, being what you are, what you did, I'm proud of you. Because I know what you're like. You don't do stuff like this. This is hard for you. And I'm proud of you. And I respect you enough that this is over. This is done. We're finished. I understand it. So, we said we're done. I never wanted this. Bully Ray said the same thing. And after that was done, everybody said, hug it out. And as Tommy was looking like he was contemplating it, but not coming near Bully Ray, Bully grabbed some coffee, splashed him in the face with it, hot cup of coffee, making him scream, beats the crap out of him. And Dave, he grabs a chair that was there, pokes him. He falls like a ton of bricks. I'll fall like a ton of bricks with my bad leg. And pretty much, that's the end of the segment. And everyone, I believe I got the shot of how he looked when he did that. Afterward, it's in my face. It was done well. Everyone was booing him. This is what they miss right now in pro wrestling. Guys, this right here, yes, is typical. Yes, it's formulaic. Yes, but if done correctly, with enough emotion, it works. This is what a lot of pro wrestlers have forgotten right now when they're doing more high impact spots, more athleticism, that psychology is very important. Now, there are wrestlers who still remember it, but in many cases, they don't really employ it due to the fact of how people like the high octane type of wrestling these days. But when you see an old school style wrestler like a Bully Ray doing this in this segment, as much as you're going to say he's nothing but a damn old man in his 50s, he can't do nothing. But guess what? Everybody in there was booing his ass. Everybody couldn't stand his ass. Everybody's angry at him now because he did his job correctly. True heels show no kindness. And he said, what am I like? I'm a what? I'm what? That is what he did. That is why he's such a good heel. He knows how to literally get the crowd wrapped around his little finger. You see me with my hair going like this. Then he wraps them around and then smacks them in the face the way he wants. Straight palm. Make the spit go out of the mouth. And your head goes. And he goes. Ha! Just like that. Let's see. Anything else am I forgetting? If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. We got Marsha Slamovich versus Mickie James. What did I say? What did I say? Did I actually believe Mickie James was going to lose? No. It would be stupid. Not because that she's so over. But she is. But it was about Marsha. From the beginning, I told you guys 100% that Marsha has not been booked correctly. You know what she's been booked like? Two people come to mind. Two people come to mind. One is 100% W. Morrissey. She's booked like W. Morrissey. But you know who's worse than W. Morrissey? Big Bill Morrissey? Killer Kross. She has been booked like Killer Kross without her becoming muscle to somebody. That's what Sienna Evans is doing right now. No, Savannah, not Sienna. Savannah Evans is doing right now. This is what Marsha is. She literally was brought in to be menacing, but never get anywhere. And this is what pisses me off. And if you say, dude, you're wrong. She's great. This is not about her being great. This is about the booking that Impact has given her. They have not given her fair booking. This woman was brought in right for what? Shouldn't she be over more? She isn't. She was treated like dirt by not letting anything happen in the back for anyone to really know who she is, because she was never Goldberg. Goldberg, at least on and off, was seen in the back. When he was going to be interviewed, he'd walk away. Maybe he may just say, you're next. Maybe. Very rarely did he do long segments. It was very rare. They made sure they booked him correctly. None of that was for Marsha. And then what happens last year? When they finally do put up against somebody, and they did it twice, and she lost twice to Jordynne Grace, and now once to Mickie James, and I doubt it's over yet, because they're going to bring her back again because of what was going on with Jordynne Grace, and they're going to eventually make this into a triple threat. It's going to come. I truly believe there's going to be a triple threat for these women. Marsha Slamovich, Mickie James, Jordynne Grace eventually will be in some type of triple threat for the title. Either Jordynne Grace will get a title back, or Mickie James will still have it, but eventually there's going to be a triple threat between these three. I feel it coming. So I feel sorry for Marsha. She was brought in to be menacing. She was brought in to be a monster, and they've done nothing with her other than just brought in to beat up on people when they feel like it was necessary. They gave her no character. They gave her no story. They gave her nothing but to come in and wipe somebody out. And only now did you actually get to hear her talk and see what her personality is and where does it lead. There you go. Now, with this video now reaching almost 37 minutes, I believe. It might go up to about 50 minutes. I don't know, 40. I'm going to try and make this short. Final match of the night. Oh, almost forgot. And I think I got the shot. I almost forgot about that match. When it came to Marsha Slamovich, when she was messing with Mickie James, I didn't forget, guys. I think I got the shot of her getting the tongue bit by Mickie James. She decided at one point during the match to lick Mickie James on the cheek. Yeah. And as she licks her again going down, Mickie grabs her tongue with her own teeth. I believe I got, if I don't have that shot, I'm going to be so angry, but I do believe I got the shot. It's in my face. If I don't, I'm sorry, guys. I had to say it. Now, the title. There was a war for the world title of Josh versus Rich Swann. These guys actually knew each other as friends. And from what was told by Tom and about Matthew, they really came together, bonded together because they had kids. Now, I don't know if that kid that he's been talking about is his first. I think the one from Su Yung. I don't know if he has kids from a previous marriage or relationship. I think it might be from Su Yung that they're talking about, that they bonded together. That he's now a dad, and that's Rich. And pretty much Josh is a dad now. Both of them didn't have their dads in their lives. And they really became really close friends. They may not be like Sammy and Rich Swann, where pretty much Rich was there when Sammy's family died, and Sammy was there when Rich's families died, dad died. But you get my point. This war was damn good. At one point, we got where it was supposed to be a superplex. Rich did a backflip out of it, which has been done more than a few times, but it still looked very good. I love this match. Now, mind you, not everyone is going to like it, but I do believe it was the best match so far that we have in Impact Wrestling. It was very well done. We got, I think, three C4 spikes. And we did get maybe one Phoenix Splash from Rich. But this match was so good, it's understandable how good it was. And the beginning of it, Josh wanted to shake hands. Rich said, after the match is over, I'll shake your hand. I waited too long. For 2 years, I waited too long for this. Too long. And that's how they got started. And when it came to Matthew, he made it very clear. There are guys that I've known for years, that are my friends or very dear friends, and I would hug them, I would tell them I love them, but when it's time to get in that damn ring, they say, we'll shake hands after the match, I'll hug you after the match, we'll go and eat after the match. He didn't say that, but that's what I'm saying. Pretty much. But for me, I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat. That's how it felt with this match. This match, there was a war. It was that damn good. It was really good. At one point, and I don't believe I got the shot, it's possibly in my face, you see Rich starting to hit hard to the face a Josh Alexander who got him in an ankle lock, and he literally hit him so hard he knocked off his headgear, which one of the reasons he wears it because he got pretty much cauliflower ear from pro wrestling. But at least that's what it's supposedly. But it was brutal. Good. And in the end, you see the title held up high. And let me give you two like this. I gotta wait until someone leaves. They're at the steps of my building. You can hear them outside. I gotta wait. They're not leaving. Ugh. Anyway, let me give it to you like this. Was this a good Impact Plus show? Hell yes, it was. Damn good. I can tell you this. It was a damn good match. And there's nothing that I can say bad about it. Was the rest of the show good? Yes. I do feel sorry for the Death Dolls and the Hex. They got nothing. There's no division. Do I believe that Khan and Kaz should have switched places with Gretchen and Speedball? Yes. But taking away from that and the audio. That was so brutal. Hearing that. That's what made my throat hurt. Going like that. Oh, this weather in New York has been brutal. It's been making my throat act up. Oh, everyone keeps getting sick over and over again, and my throat is no different. But this was a great show with bad audio problems. But you could watch it. Guys, if you're not going to watch any of the damn matches, just look at Moose dancing. They gotta see him dance. But it's just me, and I hope you enjoy this No Surrender 2023 review. Please give me a comment below, and please give me a couple of likes. Maybe I'll be seeing a little bit more. Peace.